y'all, today we are setting up our garden planting calendar. This is where I use the lunar phases and the astrological signs to know what to plant when and like what days are best to do certain things. Some people call this planting by the signs. So I just use this page that I set up in my monthly bullet journal planner. I have started using this for the past few years and it has made a big difference. This is where I track it all, and I have seen such a big difference in the garden with using this method to do all of our planting. We also do other gardening videos and planting videos. If y'all are interested in that, y'all can just check out our channel. We have lots and lots of videos there. So we are going to start off the month. I know this is going to sound strange and really woo-woo, but we're going to start off the month with a killing day. So this is a day that you would not want to do any planting or anything like that. You wouldn't do planting, seed starting, transplants like potting up, none of that. I reserve these days specifically for weeding as much as possible. I know there's a lot of weeding that needs to be done, and sometimes you just have to do whatever you can do, and whenever you can do it, but I have found that I have not had the best luck with planting on these days. So the astrological sign that goes with this is Aries, the head. And actually, I totally forgot. I should have started with the moon phases. So we're going to backtrack here and we are going to start with the moon phases because it's pretty quick to do this anyways, and it kind of makes another whole part of it completely make sense. So what I do is I use the moon phases to track this, and we are going to start off the month in a dark moon phase. And whenever it's in the dark moon phase, that's when you plant your below ground crops like your beets and radishes and potatoes and things like that, all kinds of different yummy foods like that. And actually, I think I did this one wrong. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so we are going to be in the dark moon phase, and just so you know, I'm not a perfectionist. If you are, you can always redo this or use whiteout or whatever. I'm just not. It doesn't bother me, so I just keep going and go with it here. So we are in the dark moon phase all the way until the new moon. So on the calendars, you always see the moon that's colored in like that, and that means it's the new moon, and it is the darkest that it will be. So there is like no moon visible. And whenever that happens, we transition into the light moon phase, or the above ground crop. So this is going to happen at 8:36 a.m. So that's why I'm going to put this day as an above ground day, because pretty much most of the day that's what it is. If you do gardening really early, you may want to change that or just keep that in mind. But that's what I do on those days. So after we go from dark moon phase, we're going to move into the light moon phase. And I just use these little arrows too, by the way. I didn't say that. That just helps me know whether it's in above ground planting day or a below ground planting day. And this is the time that you will plant your like above ground crops, like your corn and tomatoes and peppers, and let's see what else. I'm trying to think. Cucumbers. I mean, there are so many melons. The list goes on and on. So I just kind of use this as a guide to help me know what I need to plant and what days are best to do this. So on the 21st, that's when we're going to have the full moon. And on the calendar, it looks like this, where it's not like colored in or anything. That means this is the lightest day that we're going to have of the months. And sometimes you get 2 moons, which is like a blue moon, but it still works the same way. So you kind of change and we're going to go from above ground. Let's see, what time does this happen? This happens at 9:08 p.m. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that's an above ground day since it happens later on in the evening. And so since we have our lightest day, we're going to move back into the dark moon phases because we're moving from light to dark. So we're going to go all the way like this to the dark moon phase. And again, this is good to do your below ground crops like beets, radishes. I'm trying to think, potatoes. I'm trying to think if there's something else. I know there's other things. I just can't think of it at the moment. But that's basically how you do it, and you just kind of transition. So like on the next full moon, you'll then change, or I guess you would hit the new moon next, and then you would change to above ground crops. So it's pretty easy to do, and you just kind of go by the date of when the new moon and the full moon actually go as to when you would actually make the change. Okay, so I got a head start here on the astrological signs, but we're going to go back to this. So what I was saying here are these are the killing days, and I try and do as much weeding as possible and not do planting of any kind on this day. The 3rd and the 4th are Taurus the neck, and these 2 days are very fertile days. So this is like the best of the best days to plant. And I have had so much luck using this system. So I really, really hope that this helps y'all. And so this would be like the best day to do any of your below ground crops. As you can tell, I was struggling to remember anything else other than those few plants. So y'all help me out if y'all can think of anything. Okay, so next up, we're going to move on to the 5th and the 6th. And this is Gemini the arms. And I love this one because it's the bean and pea day. And I think that is so funny because, you know, beans and peas have the little tendrils that go everywhere. Where we're at, our peas, why did I write that like that? Okay, so our peas are completely done. I actually have even taken them out of the garden except for where we have a little surprise. Y'all, if y'all watch my garden tour, you'll see that. But I need to get out there. I've got some really old beans that I want to plant and see what they do, if they do anything or not. So I need to get out there and do that on this day. But I have found that peas, especially for me, have done amazing if I plant them on this day. And actually, I've had quite a few people even stop and ask what I have growing there and what they are because they have done so well. So I am really, really happy with that. The next 2 days is Cancer the breast. I think it's just, yes, the 2 days there. Cancer the breast. And that is also very fertile days. Also, I forgot to say, on the bean and pea days, we have one that's below ground and one that's above ground. So I would suggest to do it on the 6th if possible, because I have found that using the moon phases is really, really important. If I only had one of these to choose, I would definitely choose the moon phases. So that would be really good to do, or a lot better to do on the 6th. I know that kind of is restricted to only one day and it's kind of tricky, but if you could possibly do it then, I would suggest to do it then. So now we're on to our above ground crops, and we can plant all the very fertile, or this is a very fertile day to plant all those things like tomatoes and peppers. If you, let's see, I'm trying to think, if you want to do another round of corn or something like that, that would be good to do here. Where I'm at, it's really, really hard to get hardly anything started now because we are in have super hot temperatures, and we usually have drought conditions. So it is really hard to transplant. That's why I push so hard to try and get as much done in May as possible. So now we're going to move on to this is going to be 3 days, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. This is all Leo, the heart is the astrological sign, and these are also killing days. So these are great days to do weeding. And like I said, I would stay away from any seed starting, transplanting, anything like that. Then we're going to move on to the 12th and the 13th. And these are flowering days. So this is great because it's an above ground crop, so that lines up perfect. And the astrological sign is Virgo, the bowels. And then we have a few more days. We have 3 more days that are flowering days. So we have lots of days for that. This would be probably good to get like sunflower seeds. If y'all do succession crops of sunflower seeds, this would be wonderful to do that. They are super pretty. One of my favorite flowers. If you couldn't tell, that's one of the ones I use on my channel, so it's my favorite. And let's see, the astrological sign with that is Libra, the rains. Okay, then we move on to the 17th and 18th, and we have even more very fertile days. So this is like the best of the best for planting your above ground crops. So we've got several areas here that are several time periods that would be really good for that with the above ground crops. And the astrological sign is Scorpio, the secrets. Okay, we'll write that down. Okay, and then we are going to move on to the 19th and 20th, and that's going to be a fertile day. Now, the fertile days are like so-so days. They're kind of like not good or not bad. They're just kind of so-so. So that is, I don't think, I have never had any issue planting on these days. So I think they're just fine to plant on. This is ideal, like in an ideal world, that would be better, but I really haven't had any issue with that. So the astrological sign with this is Sagittarius, the thighs. So we'll write that. And y'all let me know down below if in the comments if y'all have ever used any of this, if y'all have had success with it, because I have found that it has done wonders with the garden. I have been super, super happy to use this system anyways. Okay, so next up we are going to be on the 21st and the 22nd, and I forgot to say that's going to be the strawberry moon. I'm really excited. We actually have strawberries that are still putting on. I'm so happy with the plants this year, and they are doing really good, and we should actually get even more strawberries this month. So I thought they were all done, but then they just surprised me by putting even more flowers on, so that was a great surprise. Okay, so these days are also fertile. So they're like the so-so days. They're neither good nor bad. And the astrological sign with that is Capricorn, the knees. And then let's see, we are moving on to the 23rd all the way to the 25th. And the astrological sign with that is Aquarius, the legs. And we have also changed with the full moon to below ground crops. And these days are also fertile, so neither good nor bad. They're just so-so days. And let's see, the 26th and the 27th is Pisces, the feet. And that is a very fertile day. So this is like another, so we've got, as we're looking here, we've got a set of days here that are very fertile for below ground crops here and here. So you kind of got a shot at the beginning of the month and the end of the month there. And then on the 28th and the 29th, that is Aries, the head. And let's see. So see, we're kind of starting over. So if you're playing the game here, Aries the head would be a killing day. So these 2 days here are the killing days and the weeding days. So there we go. There's that. And then the 30th all the way through the 1st, the astrological sign is Taurus, and that's the neck. I'll just write that in like that, and then that's going to be, so if we come up here, that's going to be the very fertile day. So we just kind of have the pattern over and over again, but the days just kind of fall different each month. So it's really easy to do, and like I said, I have found that this has done wonders for the garden. It has helped me so much, and I share this to hope that it helps y'all with y'all's gardening as well. Another thing to keep in mind is if you have any like stones or gravel or fence post or anything to put anything like that to put in your garden or anywhere on your property, the best time to do that is in the above ground days. I have experimented with this, and if you do it on a below ground day or the dark moon phases, it really is true. Everything sinks into the ground more. I know that is really, really woo-woo, but I totally am a big believer in this, and it is really crazy how it really does make a big difference. Another thing to keep in mind is there are 5 perfect days to make changes. This is like if you're wanting to start a diet or like quit smoking, or if you're weaning like children or animals, things like that. The 23rd through the 27th are perfect days. Usually you're just wanting wanting to choose days that are like past like your bowels and stuff. You want to get to like your thighs and your knees because all of the energy is moving out of the body. So, and another thing, if you have elective surgeries, now of course, if you have any emergency surgeries, of course, right then and there. But if you have the option of elective surgeries, it would also be a good idea to try and plan those to where that happens on these days, like where all the energy is going out of the body. So like say from Sagittarius and Capricorn and Aquarius and Pisces, those days would be really good to do that if possible. Let's see. I think that's everything there. I also made me these little cheat sheets to help me remember all of the things I need to do each month because it is always changing. So like I was saying before, we usually have like drought this month, so I probably need to keep track of the water and make sure the garden is watered. I still fertilize and of course weed. We'll be getting harvest in. We just got, goodness, I'm trying to remember, I think like 2 pounds of berries today, so we were excited about that. And it starts the preserving season where we hopefully will be getting peppers and tomatoes and can make sauces and all kinds of fun things. I also dehydrate a bunch of things, some of our vegetables as well as herbs. And other things I need to remember is to keep tying up the tomatoes. I got them all tied up right now, but they're just going to keep growing, and you'll always need to come back to that and do more. And keep an eye out for pests. Where we're at, we have hornworms really bad, and some years we have aphids, and I have like homemade, what would it be? I don't know, like homemade sprays that I make, that it doesn't use any chemicals or anything for that. Let's see. So I talked about some of the things, the tomatoes and peppers. We're also getting lots of berries. Now, well, this is only for where I'm at too. If y'all live more north, this is probably going to be completely different. So if y'all didn't know, we are in Arkansas, so we're in the south, and things are really getting ripe and ready to be harvested. So we'll also have some figs as well as herbs. I have a video that I took of our wild lettuce. This is like the year for wild lettuce. I cannot believe how many plants we have and how big they are. I'm going to try and have the editor add the videos in here so y'all can see how big they are. It is crazy. Other things that I like to harvest is nasturtiums, and I also usually dehydrate that too. If y'all didn't know that nasturtiums can be used in place of watercress if you're like into herbalism stuff, so they are really great. Mullein, that is great and is ready to harvest here, as well as I need to remember passion flower. I forgot to do this last year, and we ended up buying some, and I was not happy at all with the product that we got, so I really need to make sure I get that harvested. And we just harvest the leaves is what we do of that. That just grows wild here. Other things to keep in mind are flowers, and I need to also harvest our potatoes. And then I just like to also keep track of some of the things that are flowering. If I think I did plant a few boards. I don't know if they all made it and came up, but I like to make sure and get that. I kind of like the little flowers. They kind of have like a cucumbery taste. And roses and nasturtiums. I don't know if y'all have ever had nasturtiums before either, but they are really good. Both the leaf and the flower, they have this spicy taste. I love it. And our hibiscus, we put in a flower garden last year, and I'm really excited about some of the flowers there, especially the hibiscus. We have a crepe myrtle tree, a rose of Sharon. If it's still alive, I also have that in the flower garden. I don't know if that was a good decision, but we will see. Our sunflowers should be blooming, and also the mimosa trees are blooming here too. They have a beautiful pink flower. I showed it in our garden tour. They are all over and grow wild here. They're almost invasive. There's so many of them, but they are very beautiful, and they're also medicinal, which is really neat. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover. If y'all have any questions, y'all can leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my very best to answer them. If y'all also want to talk about anything gardening related, I'd love to hear from you. I think I can talk about gardening all day. It's one of my favorite topics. So thank y'all all so much for spending a part of your day with me today. Y'all take care, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.